Alright, so we're here with the first video installment. What we've been doing is looking at the posts from what people have been writing in with what they need work on. And the first thing we work on is handstand push-ups. So Colin and I are going to talk about different things that we can incorporate, that you guys can incorporate prior to getting here. If you get here early, some things you can work on post-workout. Just if you get questions on anything, if you're confused, ask myself, ask Colin, ask one of the coaches here. Because if we have something like this coming up the next day, you just don't want to be burning yourself out. But the first thing we're going to talk about is hand positioning, which a lot of people get kind of skewed. So Colin's going to get himself in if he's doing a press, right? And we talk about this a lot in class, but this is also extremely important when you start going upside down, because if your body isn't positioned the correct way, that's when you're going to get injury or injury in the shoulder. And one thing you see is that where those elbows are positioned. Okay, his triceps are engaged, his elbows are down in front of his hands, and as he would press up his bar, he's pressing straight up, activating that tricep muscle, and then he comes through and presses overhead for that strong finish. Okay, at no point in this press you see the elbows come out, especially on the way down. And as it comes down, elbows come back in that forward positioning. Again, coming down, engaging that tricep, coming down to that set position. One thing that we see when we go upside down is those elbows flaring out to there. You can see if you say, all right, Colin, do a max ever shoulder press in that position, it probably wouldn't happen and you tear his shoulder off. But we go upside down, we end up lowering our bodies down to the ground, so the elbows coming out wide. Okay, so we want to first work on that. So some ways that you can work on just acquiring that position is just basically flipping upside down and working on some negatives. Now, Colin jumped up to the parallel bars. You can even do this on the ground. But one thing you can see from the side position is his body is nice and hollow, okay? So there's no overextended body position with his lower back. Everything's pretty much aligned and engaged. His shoulders are activated. So one movement that you can start working on is just getting down to that negative, lowering yourself down. Notice how those elbows are coming down just like he's doing the press. He comes down, head below parallel, and he kicks back down, and then he goes right back up. Goes right back up. He's head shake. And again, he comes down for that 5 to 7 count, coming down. Again, triceps engaged, and comes down below parallel and back down. Okay? So that's one method that you can use. That's a pretty advanced method on the parallel bar for someone who's not used to even holding that eccentric load coming down. So what you can do from there is take the parallel bars away and then go to the ground and incorporate the same technique. Nice body positioning, kicks up, nice and hollow, comes down. Notice the head is coming down by those fingertips, okay? I don't know if Nikki can zoom in on that. She's a little newer behind the camera, but again.
I need to zoom.
As he brings his head down, it's coming down by those fingertips, okay? He's not bringing his head out here, which people have a tendency to do. Pan in, good. Now, if we revert back to that initial shoulder press that Colin did in the beginning, he's not pressing back here, right? It's not a behind head press. Same thing applies for a handstand push-up. If you want to press, you want to bring your head down right by these fingertips, okay? Keep those triceps engaged. Something that you can work on just to feel that position as a tripod on the ground. Putting those hands down on the ground, just lowering that head down, feeling it out, and trying to raise those hips up. For those people who are more advanced, and here what you can do is try and tuck those hips under over your body, raise those legs up, and if you can, press. There's another movement you can work on. Even if you're good at, if you are somewhat good at handstand push-ups, incorporate this into your technique. Just work on strength, balance, coming off the ground. So again, kick up, kicks up, and press up. Notice on that first one was strict, second and third, he has that little kick to get up off the ground. Now we bring it back to a beginner stage. We can incorporate something like that in the box. First thing on the box, okay, this is something that we always talk about, but sometimes get lost in his body position. Notice he walks his hands back, his hips are straight up, okay, he's trying to find a hollow position. As he lowers himself down, his head's going to come down by those fingertips, and as he presses up, he's going to press up and bring his head back towards the box, trying to get straight up in the air, right? So he's not pressing out here, making like a push-up position. From here, if you want to make this a little more difficult, you can walk your hands back a little bit more. Get those hips up a little bit higher, and again, same thing, brings his head down, presses back up, his head towards the box, through that motion. Okay, so again, another beginner level that you can work on just to get used to being upside down doing the handstand push-up. I'm going to show you a few more things to work on with the handstand push-up. We can talk about this all day, but a few more things are going to be just a 1/3 position hold. Yeah, we're doing a box on the ground here. And this is lowering yourself down to a 1/3 position and then holding it. Trying to hold it as long as you can. This is really working that tricep. So this is going to help, once you get here, push through that movement. And the scaled up version for that would be at the parallettes. And you can do this movement off the box as well. Comes down and pulls. You really see that tricep working right here. And that's something else that you can work on. You can do sets with that. When you incorporate the negatives, you want to make it a 5 or 7 count going down. 3, 4, 5 sets of each thing. Now, you also don't want to be doing these presses every single day, right? So you can work on doing handstand holds a lot and just feeling out that hollow positioning. If you're going to start working on these presses, pressing up the parallel bars, incorporating dumbbell movement, then you're going to incorporate that maybe every 3 days. My suggestion, grab us, talk to us before you do it, try to get a plan for it. Something else that you can work on, something else that you can start incorporating is working on beefing up those triceps. Okay? And how do you get beefy triceps? We're going to show you how you get beefy triceps. Think old school strength conditioning, right? Colin's in the demo as I talk, doing different things. We have tricep kickbacks. Keeping that elbow was fixated by your side, controlling the movement. So you're not swinging that arm down, controlling it up and down. Good, thanks. A little French pressing. Keeping the elbows tight, driving up, extending out. We're going to incorporate that to one arm as well. That's nice.
It's a beefy tricep.
Yeah, that's a beefy tricep right there. Splendid. Good. Some other things you can do, obviously close grip bench pressing. And lastly, this is showing some dumbbell pressing. We have full range of motion. And then the last part is just that dumbbell press. Can you see me right now? The last part is just that dumbbell press. You can go from a seated or standing position, but each position that you do with this, make sure that body is completely locked in. Okay, so we talked about that body position being the handstand push-up, pressing. Don't be overextended with the grips out. We all know better than that. And full range of motion. Again, just like that handstand push-up comes down, elbows in front, tricep is engaged as it gets to a certain point, finishes off with the shoulder. Good. Yeah. So, there are some tips you can start working on to improve your handstand push-ups. Next video installment, we'll work on overhead squats, double unders, and pull-ups. We have a whole seminar series coming out that will soon be released. But besides that, this is Coach Colin. Coach Jay. Peace.